Using a small ball, tennis ball, lacrosse ball, or a roller ball, go ahead and place that underneath the meatiest part of your bum, your glute, and you're gonna sit on it and slowly rock that knee in and out until you find a good place to hold it. You're just gonna hold that stretch right there, let that ball sink in, breathe into it, try to relax just a little bit, keeping the pressure right where it feels the most uncomfortable. Just breathe into it. Once you feel that start to release, you can move that knee back in and out, find a good spot, and then hold. As soon as you find that spot that feels quite uncomfortable, you're just going to stay right there and let that ball sink into the muscle.
So before you go, was there something I could have said to make your heart beat
And then you're going to
faster?
take that ball into the mid part of the glute. And again, finding it right about where the sit bone is. Cross your ankle over your knee and then rotate that knee in and out. As you're rocking that knee in and out, rotating through the hip, you're going to find a great spot where it feels uncomfortable and you're just going to hold it there. Again, just breathe into it, relax.
Was never the right time. Whenever you called, went little by little until there was nothing at all. Of every moment I start to replay, but all I can think about is seeing that look on your face when you hurt under the surface, like troubled water running cold. Some can cure this wound. So
And then slowly let that knee come towards the ground, rotating back and forth. And again, you're searching for a place where it feels uncomfortable. The most discomfort is where you're going to sit and hold it. And remember, as you're doing these, if it's too uncomfortable, come away from that point and then slowly allow your body to come into it when it's ready. You should be able to inhale full and exhale full through these. If you cannot, come up out of it just a little bit until your body's ready to relax into it some more. Holding it and breathe. We're then going to take the ball up into the upper part of the hip. This is where the gluteus minimus is. And then you're going to sit into it and rock that side to side. So it's just underneath your hip bones. Off to the side slightly, laying on it, and let that knee rotate in and out until you find a spot to where it's uncomfortable. And then you're just going to hold it at that spot where it's uncomfortable. And again, breathing into it. If you can't breathe full, come up out of it slightly.
First things first, I'll say all the words I've lived. I'm fed up and tired of the way things have been. Just stay on that where the credit feels. I was
Now bend that knee and extend the leg straight. Again, you're searching for a spot where it feels particularly uncomfortable or feels tight. And holding that. Releasing the ball from there, you're going to place it underneath the very middle of the upper glute. Sitting on the ball on one side, sit the pressure into it, and then bend and straighten that leg until you find a spot it feels uncomfortable. You can also come onto your elbows if your wrist's a little uncomfortable, and then you can rotate that knee in and out, finding a good spot. Once you find it, just stop and hold it there. That good spot's where it's particularly uncomfortable. You can feel it's tight. There's quite a bit of tension there, and allow that muscle to release. Just breathe into it. After being there for a little while, you're going to sit yourself up. See if you can take a little more pressure into that muscle. And again, bend and extend that leg just a little bit. Really just looking to see if there's a place that is a little bit looser or a little bit tighter. Where it's a little bit tighter, you're going to stop and hold it there and sit into it. If you want to take some of the pressure off of that muscle, you're going to put the pressure into your hands, so prop yourself up with your hands and your other foot a little bit more. A little more pressure as you're going to lean into it. Take some of the pressure off your hands or your weight off your hands and allow it to sit into your hip. Start with the foot fully on the floor and then rotate that knee in and out. Make sure you go for a full rotation, internal, external rotation. And then again, finding a spot where it's uncomfortable. For me, it's a little bit of an internal rotation, so the knee's in towards the midline. And just hold it there. Sit into it for more pressure. Your hands, put your weight into your hands a little bit more in order to take some of the pressure off of that. And taking the ball out from under the hip, we're going to turn onto our front. Find your belly button. Just across from the belly button where your rectus abdominis, your main show muscles for your abs are, and the obliques, the side muscles of the abs. And you're going to sit into it right in that center, right in between the two, that separation between your abs. Across from your belly button, and you're going to lean into it. So dropping that hip, rotating so your body's putting more pressure into it. A little more pressure, you can lift the leg or bend the knee. Sometimes you can feel that down into your hip flexor a little bit. If you like, you can grab a hold of that foot, again, putting more pressure into it. This is a difficult one to get. The harder the ball, the easier it is to find this and let it release. Keeping the ball roughly the same area, one side of your abdominals, and you're going to come back on top and then raise your upper body. And you can roll for just a moment, trying to find where it feels a little bit uncomfortable. You can feel it pushing in. And the higher up your upper body, the more you're going to feel this You can also press yourself up onto your hands if you like, extending those elbows straight. But if this is uncomfortable enough, go ahead and just stay right here. Take that ball just a little bit lower, right inside the hip joint, right where it hinges, and you're going to roll over on top of that ball. Again, putting pressure, and gently roll around, move that leg around. Try to find where it's a little uncomfortable. I'll show you on the same side here. You're gonna do one side through the entirety and then replay this video going into the other side. So here, rotating that knee externally, driving it up and slowly bringing it back down, extend it straight, finding a good spot where it's tight and uncomfortable. If it's too much pressure being on your elbows, you can come lay down all the way down on the floor. A little more pressure if you like it. You can press your hands underneath your shoulders and keep those hips driving down into the floor, pushing more pressure into that hip. Once that releases, you can begin to extend, lift the thigh, bend and extend, lift the thigh. See if you can find a good place to rest again. The more you lean into this, the more uncomfortable it is, but it allows to drive that ball into those muscles, slowly releasing it. As soon as you're ready, you're good.